Yeah, so I just want to discuss a little bit about video generation AI models. So
Okay.
I don't really have any specific point that I want to discuss regarding this, but I just want to go through what models are there when we just talk about the different stages. So first, I guess the first text, like if you usually say video generation models, there are different stages or different kinds that existed. Generative AI was a thing. So in filmmaking and other different places, video generation was there through AI. For example, deepfake was a thing long ago. But the current generation of video generation model are actually called text to video generation models. So basically, yeah, so you provide a natural language input and then that is converted to video. So that is the current iteration of the video generation model. And then basically I started in 2022. So there was models like there were a few models from Meta at the time. It was not quite well known. Some from Runway. I think the Runway was the first proper video generation model that became quite popular. It was called the Runway Gen 1. It was released in fact 2023. But then in 2024 is when the actual popular boom for video generation models started from OpenAI, Sora, and what was it called? Google Veo. So these were the two models that led to the rise of other video generation models. So maybe I will go through some of the current major players in this field. So the first name that probably comes is Google Veo 3 or 3.1. And this is currently maybe the best one that is there. Produces very ultra realistic 8-second clips. And second best the OpenAI's Sora 2, which was released I think last month or so. So it's really very new. And few other names that come up that are quite popular and again runways. It is current gen is Gen 3 or Gen 4. Then
Can you wait
there are
1 minute? I'll try to connect my earphones, like the background.
yeah.
Just 1 minute. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Are you able to hear me or not?
Yes. Okay. Can continue.
Yeah, but I'll continue. So the three points I mentioned were like Google's Veo, OpenAI
Yes.
Sora, and Runway. Then there were other multiple smaller, uh, by small I mean a little less known video gen models, but I think those are also considered quite good as of now. So there is one from Kling AI. The latest model is 2.5 turbo. So I think these also Chinese. There is Pika Labs that would also be Chinese. I'm not sure. Then there is MinMax Hilo, which is I think by Alibaba or something like that. So quite a few. Again, like other LLMs, this video gen model is also either US or China. There is one from Tencent as well. It's called Hanyuan or something like that. So quite a bit of open source from China and models from the US. But those are just to know what are the current video gen models available. I just quickly wanted to discuss about some of the technical criticisms that these models have, and not any one of them particular, but in general, it could apply more to some of them or less to some of them. Generally, it could be applied to all. So first, we'll start by talking about some of the.
Okay, can you briefly also mention in the like this board, can you also mention the AI, the Chinese versus the American models in some places?
the, the names.
Yeah, the names, like so that someone who's watching this can understand, can like have a summary of Chinese versus American models, like just briefly. And
This side, I think, just
so,
you know, there will be a three. You have many Sora is the current one of people. I'm not sure if runway is Chinese or any more quickly check in the runway is a free.
it's an American company, Runway.
Then we have I'm probably pretty sure this is AI, what you have China. It's being AI.
Yeah, it is origin is China, Kling AI.
Animax, Animax, audience, something. There are
Okay.
actually few more, but I think this top three from both of these countries. They have discussed it about their technical systems. First point would be about the physics and motion understanding. So all all of the videos in order to some degrees display some physics violation. So they do not clearly follow the Newtonian physics laws. So they do not have an understanding of the laws of physics. They are trained on patterns. So you ask them to, for example, if you ask people for prompt saying a person's riding a bike and he gets off the bike, the way they will get off the bike will not be may not be very human-like or very abrupt because in their the model's understanding, the physical law is not part of it. So it most of the time will violate a lot of the laws of physics. So that limitation to some degree is still there, although it has gone down quite a bit. So this many instances it is given quite realistic outputs. But that limitation is still there in quite a few cases. Then there are motion understanding by motion, it is we're talking about motion artifacts. So for example, things like water, fire, smoke simulation, those kind of things will not look real in some cases. So if you ask it to make a video of a stream of water, the way in which the water is flowing may not look, may not actually look like the way water should actually flow. It will resemble the flow of water, but there will be something, I think, some uncanny thing about it. When you look at me, I will immediately be able to see something about this video is not real. I know the water and physics is not correct. The smoke, the way the smoke is coming out is not correct. So I think that so like if you compare it to text, if the text is 99%, I don't have any particular metric, but generally speaking, say if you compare a human writing something and an AI writing something, even if there is a 99% accuracy, the difference is not that much. You cannot visually just see the difference. You have to read it carefully and maybe try to identify what could be AI, what could be human. But when it comes to video, even if there is 99% accuracy, but the 1% accuracy is not there, you can immediately tell it's fake because it is visual. So in order for it to feel completely real, everything has to fall in place. So even if there's like you can see the in my background the water flowing, you can
Yes.
somehow tell it is real. But in AI,
Yes.
like the water will flow, but the way it will go back it will be different, or something or the other will be off. And you'll be able to tell this is not actually real. So in those kind of motion, still lacking. Yes. Then second point be about temporal consistency. So temporal consistency basically means consistency with time. So it still does not have the ability to remain consistent as the video goes on. For example, suppose there is a person in a video that is there for one frame and it just goes out for another frame and comes back in another frame. The person who goes out and the person who comes back may not be the same. Or the person wearing the clothes will be different, or some shape of the person will be different. If a car we're making a car, the car will look different in one instance, and seconds later it will look different. So it is not following the same, like in actual videos, we will following the same car. It is not exactly the same car in every instance, every frame. It is generating new pixels. Sometimes it is not able to generate the same pixel again. So with time, the consistency is not there. In some cases, of course, most of the time it can be there, or it is seen that it is there, but there are many different things that can find. It is not able to follow consistency. Then thirdly, we can talk about this resolution on detail limitation. And so I think most of these video gen models, they are limited to 1080p, I guess. So the highest resolution you can generate is 1080p. That too also 2 to 3 seconds, maybe is 8 seconds max. Uh, and 4K is not possible at all, I think. So that you know, that limit is still there. And detail loss is also there. So you can, yeah, basically, so in many cases you will not find it to be very detailed. Now I have seen some examples of videos from Vio or Sora. They have quite a lot of detail in them, but many others are still catching up, trying to catch up with them. Even those will have instances where the detail is completely wrong. And like the hand also for a long time to identify an AI generated image or video was to check the hands. That's not able to properly generate hands. I think it is able to do it now, but you might have seen many examples where like, all of a sudden there will be a person who will have 3 legs. Suddenly they will have 6, 7, 8 fingers. Yeah, those kind of small details is where you can find there's still some limitations. And the final point, I think, would be about control and predictability. So, by the nature of the models, there is limited user control. So, it is not like initially I was thinking like what is difference what is the difference between this kind of video gen models and CGI computer generated image? So I think the ultimate difference is the control. Okay, I have the complete control of how you want the entire environment to look like in CGI. You can manipulate every little thing. In this kind of video gen model, you are giving the prompt, but it is not deterministic. You don't know what kind of output the model is going to give you. And you cannot, we can choose you want to change. For example, it gives you an 8 second clip. In that 8 second, there is a scenario you want to change. And what exactly you want to change? There may not you may not have that fine granular control over what exactly what it shows. Whatever it gives to you based on how much you prompt. So, of course, if you have a very detailed prompt, you can get close to what you want, but you may not always have that idea in your mind. So, over time, it will, like, yeah, you will not have exact control of how the outcome is given. And same, like the same, the extension of the same point will be on prompt integration types. You prompt it to do something, but instead of
What does
doing
the
like,
middle word mean here? Integration.
yeah,
That's-
yeah. So I'm telling you, you would give a prompt. You want something specific. For example, you ask the person carrying a orange banana or something. Banana, let's say orange apple. So instead of an orange apple, it give you an actual just an orange. So like visually it is similar, but you wanted an actual orange apple. Instead of that, it gave you something similar that looks apple like an apple, but it's not an apple. Or you say a person kicking a ball. If it's a football or soccer or something, it will give you whatever it interprets, whatever it does, it will give you that. So, so there may be that gap might be there. So whatever what you input and what it outputs may not be exactly one to one. And you do not actually have 100% control over it. You'll have to do a trial and error. You have to give a different prompts. There will be situations when the same prompt you will not get the same output. So for example, people sometimes talk about people, I mean, generally, if you want to use a video AI model to create suppose an ad for a company, you have a vision in mind and you give a very detailed prompt. The first output looks a certain way, and you want to continue in that direction, but you want to modify it. You give the same prompt with some extra input. There is no guarantee that it will give you similar to the one you got before, but updated. It might give you something that is completely new. So you do not have that control. Whatever it gives, you have to just accept it. So yeah, these are like, yeah, I guess, four technical criticisms. The most generally talked about technical criticisms for the videos and models. So do you have anything in advance we question with this?
Okay, so I'll start from the fourth point because since those are recent, okay, then maybe I'll comment on the upper points. So about control and predictability, uh, so this kind of issues are also like these are similar issues to creating text as well as images, isn't it?
So
Like
this would
the
apply to generative models also. So,
yeah, it's across whether it's video, audio, or a video, image, or written text. So this thing always happens. So okay, so what's the difference between limited user control and prompt integration gaps? So control and predictability, I understand
these
like
are
you have
interchangeable kind of.
okay.
One leads to the other, like it's will be like a cycle.
Okay, so the overall idea in control and predictability is that I, as a person, I have a vision in my mind, but whether the AI will generate exactly what I have in my mind or not is it's not up to me. That's the whole
Then, yeah.
message. Okay,
Mm.
and also after initial output is generated, if I want to make some more modifications, again I will have something in my mind, but how it interprets my prompt, it's up to this model. That's also what you're trying to say. Okay, like
But I think
I
like I have
yeah,
hearing few points regarding some video gen model that they have. So the software like it's like a development environment software, like an IDE, where once the output is given, you have option about changing control, camera controls. You can change where the camera is positioned. You can change lighting and stuff. Almost like a Photoshop kind of environment. but I don't know how well those work. I'm not
Okay, like
able to.
this. So you mean the apps like VE, like the VEO3, Sora 2, those kind of things. So like
Yeah, I
once
don't
the
know if Sora 2, I don't know if Sora 2 can do it, but there are from Google Flow is that that studio application, right? Google Flow,
okay,
I think it's called. It's
okay,
like a proper software where you like once it gives the input, you have control over a few things. Like it can change a few things. I mean, the camera directions you can change. I think the physics. I don't know if you can change the physics laws or not. But that almost becomes like a game engine. That is what happens in a game engine.
yes. So
You
that is what
have
I'm
control
thinking.
over, yeah, you manipulate the environment to make it look how you want.
Okay, so it's like in a normal game engine or a video editing software, you start from a blank sheet. Like instead, here what you can do is you can prompt and create an initial input, or like initial instead of starting with something blank, you'll have initial something to work with. And if you want like minor changes, like as you mentioned, the camera and something, and then you can manually do those changes. So that's what you're trying. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I only read about it a little bit. I'm not sure how well it's implemented. It's even possible.
So. So I think we can look into some videos like are there and on YouTube like those IDs kind of things, how
Could be
people use
search for
it.
kind of problem facts and shit. Okay.
So are you searching or should I search?
Well, get a short video of that.
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Maybe search for Google Flow or something. Tutorial of Google Flow. If there's a short video, you can watch it. Other things, you can access other things. Searching for it.
Huh?
Are you searching for any video?
Oh, I thought you were searching, so I wasn't searching. So let me search again. So I'll share my screen now. Can you see?
Yeah.
So I think we can see this one.
What if you could turn this into reality just by typing a sentence? Hi, I'm Kevin, and Google just released VO3, an AI video
So in
generator
the
that turns
timeline,
your
what are the points?
imagination.
What did you say?
Can you click on that timeline thing? What are the points you discussed in this one?
tools. Once you've signed up for a plan, head over to the address at the bottom of the screen and then sign in with your Google account. This drops us into the Gemini chat interface, and at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the prompt field along with a few different tools. Let's click on the one titled Video, and that turns on Veo 3. From there, you can start typing in your prompt. Let's try one. A cinematic slow motion shot of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies being pulled out of the oven. Then you could also offer information like, where is it? Here, I want it to be in a cozy sunlit kitchen. You could also talk about the lighting. I want it to be warm. What the focus should look like. Any atmospheric effects like steam rising, and also if you want to include any music. The more details you provide, the closer the resulting video will match what you had in mind. Once you're done entering in your prompt in the bottom right, let's submit that. Let's now watch how it turned out. Oh, overall, that's really impressive. I did notice a few issues. For example, for whatever reason, some of the chocolate chips completely melted on top of the cookie, but overall, it matches my prompt really closely. I'm really impressed. One cool feature of Veo 3 is that it doesn't just generate video. It can also add narration. If you wanted to speak specific lines of text, just include that text in
Can you
quotes
search
as part
for
of your
Google
prompt.
Flow instead? Gemini Flow.
Those kind of videos. Cost, yeah, it's more like an advertisement. You won't get the details of the ID.
Hi, I'm Noah from the Flow team. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what Flow is and how it works. Flow is a generative video tool co-created with filmmakers to help them create better clips and scenes using AI. The entire tool is a combination of Google DeepMind's most advanced models, Veo, Imagen, and Gemini. So let's jump right in. This is the project view where all of your projects live. It's really easy to scroll and look through everything you're working on. When you click into a project or start a new one, all of your generations for this project will appear as you make them. Let's focus here on the prompt box. By default, it is set to text to video. You can type something in and you'll get a video back. You'll see there's a drop-down menu where you can switch between different modes. Let's explore frames to video. In each mode, you'll see these little chips that give you specific options for that mode. You have the option to use a first frame, a last frame, or both. This chip opens your ingredients drawer, which is a collection of previously used frames that you can select to reuse. You can also either upload or generate an image to use as a frame. Another chip here is where you'll find camera controls. You can select the camera icon and add a camera move into your generation without having to describe it in the prompt. You also get a little preview of what that camera move is. Now, let's take a look at ingredients to video mode. This is similar to frames to video, but instead of using the image as your first or last frame, you can select a few ingredients to combine in one scene and add a prompt of how you want them to interact in the clip. As you continue to use the same ingredients, you'll see how easy it is to achieve character, location, and object consistency across shots. Now that we have a clip that we like, let's bring it over to Scene Builder and make a little sequence. You can hover over the clip to see the button that says Add to Scene, and that automatically moves you into the Scene Builder. Here we are in the Scene Builder, where you can put multiple clips together to create a scene. Let's take a look at some of the ways you can do that. This feature is called Jump To. It uses the power of Gemini to understand how your previous clip ended to seamlessly generate the next one in the sequence, guided by your prompt. You can use these handles here to trim the clips in your scene. Use this plus button and select Extend, and add a prompt to extend the clip that you are working with to make longer scenes. There's another plus button here, above the playhead, which allows you to save a frame for later in case you want to generate more clips starting or ending with that frame. Once you have all of your clips generated, you can also rearrange them in the sequence with this button. Then you click here and download your scene. So that is your quick introduction to getting started with Flow. We're incredibly excited to see what you create.
I think this will get an idea of this is like a completely video editing tool with AI generated
Yes.
scenes. And it has the entire context of what was the first video, how continue and stuff. But I think this kind of tool is necessary if you want to end up creating a good enough long format video. So
Yes.
in a single script, it's not possible to get the complete video that you want.
Yeah.
To
I mean,
require some editing.
even in real life, when people are shooting a movie, like they should mostly shoot scene by scene. They do not shoot the whole 2 hour movie at the same time. Although there are certain special
Yeah.
shows where like one take movies, but in general, that's what happens. So yes, like even though like their capacity is what like 5 to 8 seconds, but if you can create multiple 5 to 8 seconds at the same time, which are related, like you can create long form videos. Yes, I understand it. Which
And I think,
also, yeah, you continue, then I'll say.
yeah, so again, this has made it easy for anyone to create whatever the vision they have, but I think it still will require at least some kind of filmmaking knowledge. You have to know what are the different possibilities, what kind of different shots there are, and such in order to actually make a good video. You don't know anything about filmmaking, you will not even know how to prompt it. Similar to coding, I guess. You have to know something, you can prompt it correctly.
Yes, I think I agree with that. So that's what I think. Like, as long as you are using as a if you are a human using anything as a tool, you will need to have like skill. Yeah, you'll need to develop skills. You have to practice. Like, you have to keep doing it time after time. Only then you'll improve. Like, whatever those things are. Like, to talk about AI and automation, like, unless that thing is doing 100% by itself, so then that's a different thing. But if you are trying to use it as a tool, then you'll have to have the skills, and only through practice or like using it over time, you'll improve. So
I
it's just
think
another tool.
this is a tool like for the if someone's a director.
Yeah.
I think the director's job is this kind of thing to decide what kind of shot it needs to be, how it needs to
Yes.
look, those kind of things.
Yes.
So instead of actual people, actual cameras, you can prompt just through AI and get the output.
Yes. Like, even in my case, like during writing, I have experience like there are other people who ask me help regarding prompts, and when I look at their prompts and I see like those are so basic, like you are giving it you're giving such vague prompts, like you have something in your head, but you are not able to like express
Articulate.
yourselves in the prompt.
Yeah.
So yes, I can understand. And actually, like prompt engineer, like I don't think it's a buzzword anymore. It's really a thing. Like this is what you have to be good at. And because it's just if 2 or 3 days ago, I was reading a post on LinkedIn, like that person was saying, oh, like prompt engineering is such a like gimmick term, like it's just a marketing term. But actually, I think it's quite the opposite. It's the most important thing that you have to learn if you want to use an AI for whatever use cases you're using it for. Like, and okay, which also reminded me that like there was recently a series that came on Geo Hotstar, which was entirely AI generated. Just Mahabharat or something. Let me see. Yeah, this one. I have this one. This whole
हजारों
series,
साल
like
पहले
I looked a bit into it. Let me
How
just
many episodes are there?
काम के रिवॉर्ड
uh only 4 episodes are there. I just watched like 5 or 10 minutes trying to see how food it looks
गिफ्ट
like.
देने वालों ने
But technically, they still mention it as animated series or like something
ना
those kind of series.
ज्यादा सोचा नहीं. देखो मेरे बर्थडे पे क्या मिला.
But we have to get through these ads. We have 3 minutes, so hopefully.
Be personalized. Amazon Pay. Payments का A to Z.
पुत्र प्राप्ति के लिए महाराज भारत की धरती अनंत इतिहास की खाया प्रबंध साहू वंश के एक महान राजा जिन्होंने कई अश्वमेध और राजसूय यज्ञ करके समग्र धरा पर अपना राज्य स्थापित कर लिया था, जिनका नाम था महाभीष। उन्होंने अपनी तपस्या और पुण्य कर्मों के बल पर ब्रह्म सभा में से आत्म पुरुषों को प्रवेश करने की अनुमति थी।
So these are not real people.
Yeah, these are not real people. Everything is AI generated. So yeah, this is what it is. So I don't know like how it will be. Like in some cases, like the emotions, it doesn't feel very. It looks a bit cartoonish.
तुम अपने राजमहल में नहीं अपितु ब्रह्मलोक की सभा में हो.
Right? Yes, I can get like it in some sense is good. Like it looks better than like better in the sense like it looks more realistic than an animated series or those things. But again, like in some scenes, like the facial expressions, you can see that it's not a real human. You can make it out. But maybe in the
I
future.
think a very good human animated series would be much better than a good AI generated series or video.
Yes.
Did you
Like,
see the trailer for the Bahubali? And
No, I haven't watched the trailer. No, I haven't.
So, animation wise, it looks like Arcane. Maybe you have seen the Arcane animation.
Okay.
So there, the creativity or the way people want to express the action scenes or any other things is much better. So at least as of now, really do not have that much control in AI, even though this kind of software exists for Google Film.
We have only 30 seconds about, so it'll end. Should we continue?
Yeah, I'm starting.
Yeah, 5:10. So I'll just finish this one. Yeah, so what were you saying?
Yeah, so we discussed some of the technical differences.
Okay.
Let's have some arguments for or against talking about society or humanity in general.
Okay.
You just note out the polls. So, yes. So, first one is in the potential of creative production. So, let's quickly just go through this point. So, I think the self-explainable. You have an idea from your able to clearly express it. You do not need the other skill itself. You just need to give the input and you will have some kind of result. It will not be exactly how it is. If you have the skills, but for many people, they do have quite a lot of creative ideas. If they're able to express it well, something or the other will come out of it. So in that way, the creative production is democratized to a larger number. Then, yeah, I think an extension of this point only would be about accessibility. So if it is democratized to a larger audience, then more people have access to creating any kind of output they want. Any kind of creative ideas they have. So there's no inclusion as well. So this 2 point to consider this thing. Actually, the third point was one point that I have not considered with problem. It's about environmental sustainability. So whenever we talk about AI, when we think of any negative criticism, this argument comes up a lot of the hardware requirements and as a result, the electricity requirements and the carbon emissions and such for running the data centers and stuff. But if you use video generation model and it replaces many of the real world the video creation process, then actually we were moving towards more environmental efficiency because if you want to create a 5 second ad, you will have to rent entire spaces. You'll have crews, people coming on vans, and it's all the equipment and everything will consume electricity, and it will end up emission. There will be more carbon emission in the creation of a 5 minute video ad. If it was made using the traditional methods instead of you use AI, for the 5 minute ad, the carbon emission will be much lesser. There are actual numbers that I'm having at the point. And generally speaking, the carbon emissions would be lesser if we use video generation. So in that sense, there is a positive argument for this use of video generation also if you are able to get a decent enough output. And the fourth point would be about innovation and prototyping. So instead of just using the AI to get the final output, if you look at some of the documentaries of how the films are made, you'll see a lot of prototyping and a lot of actual like art drawings of scenes. For example, I saw one for the movie of the Korean movie, was it called a Parasite, I think. So the one of the documents or something, the director showed his entire sketchbook of scenes he drew by hand of how he wants it to look, how the person is going to frame, this kind of things. So that prototyping, if you have an idea in mind, you want the person to come out this way, you can just prompt it and see how it will look. If you are able to prompt it correctly, also that is one point. There is the option of quickly prototyping, and you can cancel out ideas if it will not be good enough or actually follow through with some ideas. So that level of real-time prototyping is available with this kind of option. And which point is on education deployment. What we are talking about education and training, I guess, in school scenarios. So we will have a lot of concepts that could be well understood if there was some kind of, for example, in our school itself, we had so many, at one point we had the smart home thing. Like,
Yes.
so, yeah, so a few concepts we had, digital animations and so that would really make it easier for us to understand. So if there are any concept and the teacher has a good idea of what kind of video would be better for the students to understand, he can customize it according to his vision. Can
Yes.
decide what kind of videos would be better even to explain this concept. So that option is there. So that way also it could be used for the good. So I think these are some of the arguments that are for video gen models. We think we have a say about
Yes, like I can agree with all these arguments, like the use cases have or the advantage as well, like the environmental sustainability and from a social perspective, yes, like democratization, like more people have access, and also the environmental sustainability in terms of like shorter form videos, which would otherwise require a lot of resources. Yeah. Like I think the first three are more like social and environmental impacts of AI, those things, and the second two will be like are the practical use cases like around which businesses, not just businesses, like these are use cases, could be businesses or could be non-profit as well. But I can understand like so those are this so for example there like Google Flow and all those the model creators who will be the customers. Like now I'm talking from an investor's point of view, like trying to understand their business model, like the viability of those things. So who will be their potential customers? Like who will they sell it to? How will they make money? Like I mean the model creators. So I think the first will be like the will either be the will either be filmmakers who might initially start with smaller movies like 10, 15 minutes and eventually could go up to full length movies. So they could be one of the potential customers. But I think one of the other one, which I think is more realistic, is like the ad makers. Like
Yeah.
there are so many brands now. Like instead of going to some specialized ad agency to create a brand, they might try to like if there's a little bit of talent within their own team, like they can make the effort to create their own ads. And even those agencies themselves, they can also take these kind of softwares and make it even better, whatever they're doing. Not just make it better, like cut their costs. So I think, yeah, that those could be other kind of customers. Yes. And yeah. And the third would be like generic content creators on any social media platforms. But yes, those are the kind of things that I can think about who will be the users of this.
So what we some of the arguments that are against this. First one is, of course, even before the time of videos and models, this misinformation. So it was already difficult to identify deepfakes before now. We wonder how realistic the outputs are is going to be even more to differentiate. And some valuable people, I mentioned saying that some people were not much aware of this kind of information, this kind of technology, will not be able to differentiate which is real, which is not. So I think as a like a thumb rule in the video, now you see on the internet, you should scrutinize it before actually believing it. So everything on the internet could be fake now. For example, one of these a lot of CCTV kind of video generated
Yes,
AI generated videos are coming up.
yes,
So I see like a tiger suddenly coming and fighting with a dog or something,
yes,
and the
yes,
dog is attacking the lion.
yeah.
So at first glance, like there is very hard to identify it as fake.
Yeah, even in some of them, I actually believe those to be true. Like then I
Yeah,
finally realized, no, those aren't.
yeah. So that is like okay, that is all fun and games. It's entertaining also, but in
Yes.
some cases that could be used like to propagate any kind of agenda, to create fake outrage. So the potential is there in both ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Then second point would be the creative industry in general and job displacement. So of course, talking about AI being able to in seconds generate a video with maybe an ad talks about the requirement of many overall like the people required to make this kind of videos may go down. So yeah, I think the process has to go down difference.
And the number of people will be at least reduced. Like if a team had like 10 video creators, like only one or two would be sufficient.
And since it is considered a creative industry, right? So many people, on top of it being a source of income, it is also a source of passion for them compared to
Yes.
maybe many other jobs. So basically, we are taking away that source of passion also. And
Yeah.
it's
Like
one
the
where
ability.
people might look at it.
For example, but at the same time, what kind of like are you talking about like full movie video editors or like ad?
See, some people just get into the job because that is what the opportunity they got. But some people
Yes.
have the desire to be part of this. Maybe they want to be a director, but they not have the chance to be that way. So they are in some way or the other involved in that industry. So their dream was to be a director, but they could only do some production work in an ad agency or something. But in their hand, they are still looking for a break to become a director or something. This could be one of the journeys for any of the person. And if this kind of basically the need for them is removed, maybe they will feel a sense of lack of meaning in their work. Also, this
Yes.
has become lot of it has become mechanized in a way. So the creativity is lost for some people.
Yeah, I get this word.
So how about this copyright? Because they are using public data, internet, videos created by other people, other creators before. You already the topic of copyright comes and then the topic of ethical reading. Are you sourcing the data in ethical manners? Are you licensing it or not? I don't know what the current law says about. I think I talked about this once, but at least for tax-based thing, they are claiming it to be fair use. Unless it is used for transformative purposes. So you will see, kindly look in your right here. That is one point I think that there is no clear conclusion. So it has been divided since the beginning. It's still divided, and it's regarding bias. So bias in the training data. So now, person like the amount of video material or image material on the internet is not equally divided. It is skewed in a way. So the AI will be more tuned to what is more popular. And so if you want a certain kind of output, but it doesn't have enough training data on that, so at a higher percentage, it will return something. I don't know how to put it, but maybe you understand what I'm trying to say regarding bias.
Bias, yeah, what you're trying to say is like if a model is trained on a particular kind of data which has certain kind of bias, for example, the example that was talked about, like one example that I found was about black people in America, like they are more likely to be like identified as criminals because of the data or something like that. So those kind of biases might come in, like stereotypical outputs.
Yeah. Yeah, also I agree to be stereotype affirming this
Yeah.
kind of. So yeah, that concern is there, and that could only be improved with proper training data or more vast training data. And
Yes.
if you want training data, then the point of the second point comes. So how ethical is it to source this kind of training data and search? So that is one point. Um, yeah, the final point is also about the regulation and stuff. So I think that this also comes under the how are you regulating what the outcomes going to be, how it will be regulate when how is it to be used. But I think I don't know where, but I read some department or something who was saying that any AI generated has to be marked as AI generated. This should be clearly identified because AI generated. Any AI input does not include or not. Was in regards to that, where you are from getting something. So maybe it has to be standardized that way. Upper standard, any AI manipulated even has to be clearly identified. That
Like,
kind of regulation has to come.
so about that thing, like for example, like if a video or image is created, so initially like there is a like a watermark on the bottom, like VO or like Sora 2. So that's from a visual perspective that is there, but that can also be removed. If I crop the image, that goes down. But also there's
You
I
cannot
don't
crop
know.
the image. You can use those AI engine itself to remove this from.
Oh, I did not know that. But so yes, so that was the visual part. But I was thinking like I'm not sure how this thing called like digital signature works. Like, can an image be identified? I think that whether like who
Cryptographically, it is possible to. There are cryptographic systems where you can enable that.
it's
So,
like
through
in
facial
WhatsApp, like
recognition, you can identify. Yeah.
okay. So I think I don't know, like they were like I think about a few years ago, like those kinds of issues, like concerns emerged about the messages that are being shared on WhatsApp, who originated those images, like who started those messages, like fake news and so on. So I don't know, like they were trying to track something or like that. But I'm still not sure how whether it actually works or it can be tracked back in WhatsApp, but that's what I was wondering. But you mentioned like it can be cryptographically detected or something. So yes.
So those kind of end-to-end encryption are also kind of uh, like a gray. I don't know what to call it. Almost like a scam, like I think, because they are end-to-end encrypted, but they are not encrypted on the cloud. Meaning,
Okay. So
like for
what does it
example,
mean?
WhatsApp message that I send from my side
Yes.
can be only read when it reaches you on
Yes.
your device.
Yeah.
But if I back it up in the cloud, it is not encrypted.
Okay.
Because if you have actual end-to-end encryption, you cannot have cloud backup.
Oh yes.
Because, because when the device changes, the encryption code keys will change. Then the backup will
Okay.
not be able to identify with the new device. So if you
Okay.
want to have the backup system, there is no true end-to-end encryption.
Yeah, that is
So
an
that
interesting
is
thing.
I think that is how I understand. I may be wrong here.
Uh,
Because recently on Twitter I saw this thing about Aratai or something. You have heard
no. What is it?
of it? It's like messaging app from Sridhar Bembro, that is Zoho CEO.
Okay.
So he was I think so he has this Indian-based messaging app.
Okay.
People are criticizing him for not having end-to-end encryption or something. There he explained that end-to-end encryption doesn't really work that well. You have true end-to-end encryption, there will not be any backup system. There will be any backup system if there are true end-to-end encryption. So my idea is based on that one too. I don't know how technically it is.
That is a topic worth exploring. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
So, any other points? Do you have any
So,
other points?
I think it is since it is a developing technology now. We'll conclude this point that tomorrow anything will come back from negate many of the technical criticisms we talked about, or even some of the arguments for or against you. So it's a very dynamically evolving field.
Yeah. I'm not able to hear you clearly. Like it's like mumbling sound.
And then
Okay. So I think I can you go part go, I think I have some questions about the technical part, just a few. You can go there. Like I okay, like I understood the fourth part. So just a review of what was the third part again?
it's about resolution and detail limitation. So I think it is limited to 1080p at the point you cannot generate higher than 1080p resolution.
That was
And
it.
details, yeah, in general, details will be missing in some cases.
Okay. And the temporal consistency.
It's about consistency with time. So it will not follow the same character, it will not follow the same scene.
So that's why it's just 5 to 8
Instantly.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in that 5 to 8 second also, if you quickly change scenes and you try to go back to the previous scene in the prompt itself, will not go back to how it looked before. May- Let's say you say for the first 2 seconds you are in the beach, then you look up at the sky, then you look at the beach again. It might be two different beaches. So there's no control over it.
But then in their Google Flow platform, that is, they have tried to cover this one because
That is what the
uh,
trends for yes.
yes, because Google Flow it's not the video generation model. VO is the model, so they are using Gemini VO and the image and like the image generation model or whatever it was, all three to combine
Because
this
they are
platform.
yeah, because there itself they are not just text to base like they mentioned, it is frame to video, then ingredients to video. So the input the more varied input you can give to it, the better understanding it has about the same, the more consistency it can have. Just by
Okay,
text, it may not be able to follow the same consistent, but by image, you can show that I want it to remain the same this way, that particular image. It will be disabled, sustained.
okay. So I think so. Google Flow is more of an application layer kind of thing. It's built on top
Yes,
of
it is.
those foundation models. Yeah.
It's proper
Which
video editing tool itself. Where the inputs are this video generally is and whatever text is.
okay. And what is the first one? The physics and motion understanding. So
Yeah. So almost follow the physical laws of the random glitches in there. Used to have, but I think it is getting better. It's not like it is in every single studio.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, so I got the technical part as well. Yes. So
It's region models status as of now.
okay. So at the beginning you mentioned a few models. So like, do you have any idea which one is better of the all? Like,
I have a link once I shared with you if you will release back or video which I provided.
yes, yes. So that
You
has
can watch
yeah,
you don't have to watch the
tier
whole
list.
video, but there will be tier list at the last end of the video. You can just
Okay.
skip past that. Check.
This was the list.
sit in B tier, but just because of how long it took to generate, I'm gonna have to push it down to C tier. Still, since the quality was okay, I don't want to drop it all the way down to F tier. And now let's look at the rankings. The best 3 overall are Sora 2, Kling 2.5, and Google Veo 3.1. Easily the top for realism and quality. Some models did come pretty close, like Pixverse, Hailuo 2.3, and Veo 3. They all performed really well, but the ones that struggled the most were Kling 1.6, Wan 2.2, and Hailuo Standard. Those are the ones I'd really recommend avoiding altogether. All the models that landed somewhere in the middle are honestly up to you. If you think some of these look better than others, go ahead and test them yourself. But the best part is, with OpenArt, you can test all these models in one place. No need to buy 10 different subscriptions. Honestly up to
Yeah.
So mostly the ones at the lower are the older version of those models. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so now I also get an idea about which models are at the top. Yeah. Okay, so anything else here? So I think we can end this one. Yeah, I'll stop the recording now.